Hello, my friend. This is Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority here in Morehead City, North Carolina, and hope you're doing great today. Just in case you've never heard me speak or been to one of my video blog sessions, here's what we talk about in these sessions, and these are very short sessions, just 2 or 3 minutes long, where I give you a, hopefully for you, a powerful strategy that you can use in your real estate investing business. But what we talk about here is how to get all the funding you would ever need for your real estate investing business to where you never miss out on a deal because you didn't have the money. If you are a real estate investor and you've had some experience, odds are you have missed out on some deals because you didn't have the funding at the time. So I'm known as the Private Money Authority across the nation. And what we talk about here, as I said, is how to get funding. And so let's be very, very clear on what we mean by private money. So private money is, or funding, is not getting money or borrowing money from banks or from institutions or from hard money lenders. We're not talking hard money lenders. We're talking about doing business with individuals just like you, just like me, and we borrow their money. In fact, I'm a private lender myself. I borrow private money, I lend out private money for real estate deals. And so what we're talking about is doing business with individuals, borrowing money from either their investment capital or borrowing money from their IRAs, their retirement accounts. And there's a specific strategy on how to do that we'll talk about later in another session. But what I want to share with you today is how you, as a real estate investor that wants to borrow money for your deals, this strategy of private money has got nothing to do with your credit. It's got nothing to do with your income. It's got nothing to do with your experience. How I plug into funding and how I can plug you into funding is really, really a cool strategy as to how you can get funding for your deals and not have to do it the conventional way. When I was borrowing money from the banks, I had to do business and follow rules the bank's way. But now we do business by creating our own rules. That's pretty cool. But what I want to share with you today is a really secret strategy. In fact, I don't know anybody else that teaches this. And in fact, until right now in this session, I haven't taught this anywhere except at my own private live events for my real estate investors and students. And so I'm going to go ahead and share with you right now how I introduce myself to people that I haven't met before or people that I haven't seen in a while. And this strategy has brought me in the millions, and I do not exaggerate, in the millions of dollars in new funding for my real estate deals. So, the traditional way of introducing yourself or someone else introducing themselves to you is you'll say to someone, "Hello, my name's Jay Conner. What do you do?" Or they'll introduce themselves to me and they'll ask me, "What do I do?" Well, the traditional way of answering that question is, "Well, I'm a real estate investor, or I'm a plumber, or I'm an electrician, or I'm an attorney, I'm an accountant, I'm a chiropractor, I work in civil service," etc., etc., etc. And we know what's going on in the mind of the other person, right, that we're talking to. They're thinking to themselves, "Well, that's nice, but what's in it for me?" And so wouldn't it be really cool? Wouldn't it be really cool for you to answer that question when someone asks you, "What do you do?" Wouldn't it be cool for you to answer that question in a way for two reasons, two benefits. Number one, to pique curiosity, for them to ask you more about what you do in your business and how your business works. And secondly, to answer the question in a way that could possibly benefit them or someone they know. So put your seatbelt on right here, right now. I'm going to tell you right now exactly the words that I use when someone asks me, "What do I do?" Here's the answer. I teach real estate, or rather I teach private lenders how to get higher rates of return on their investment capital or their retirement accounts than they can probably get anywhere else. Let me repeat that. When someone asks me, what do I do? The exact words I say are, well, I teach private lenders how to get higher rates of return on their investment capital or their retirement accounts than they can probably get anywhere else. Now, immediately when you just say those words, or when I say those words to someone that's asking me, what do I do? Their eyes are like, deer's eyes staring in, headlights. They have no idea what I just said. The reason they don't know what I just said was I talked about private lenders. They probably don't know what a private lender is. But they did probably hear this. They heard two other things. They heard I'm a teacher, okay? I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. I'm a teacher, and they heard higher rates of return on investment capital or retirement accounts. See, they might have heard retirement accounts. They heard higher rates of return that they can probably get anywhere else. So when I answer the question that way of, Jay, what do you do? That opens the door for me to talk about private lending. It opens the door for me to talk about how they could be a private lender, perhaps. It also opens the door about how possibly they might have a retirement account, or they know someone that's got a retirement account that they're not happy with their returns. So, for example, not long ago, my wife, Carol Joy, of course, many of you all have met Carol Joy at the events I've spoken at, etc., or at my own live events. Well, not long ago, Carol Joy's mother, out in Wichita Falls, Texas, was celebrating her 80th birthday, big birthday party there in Wichita Falls. So they had a reception in the afternoon, so of course we go to the reception, and I'm sitting down at the table, had these great big round tables that would seat 8 or 10 people. And so, I've got the birthday cake, I've got the peanuts, I've got the mints on my plate, and I'm sitting there, and across the table, I see a lady that I hadn't seen probably in 2 or 3 years that goes to church with Carol Joy's mother. And I met her and her husband, years and years ago when I lived out in Texas. And so we're talking along, and so of course I haven't seen her in 2 or 3 years. And so she says to me, she says, well, Jay, what are you doing these days? And of course, you already know what my answer was. I said, well, it's funny you should ask, because since I saw you last, I'm now teaching private lenders how to get higher rates of return on their investment capital or retirement accounts than they can probably get anywhere else. Dead silence. She looks at me and she says, now, what did you just say? And so we went on with the conversation. I explained what private lending is. And as it turned out, in that conversation, her husband had a $700 and some thousand IRA that he was not happy with, not happy on the returns. And so that was on the birthday party was on Saturday. So the next day, on Sunday, she had me come visit with her husband, and we had an amazing conversation. And of course, you can guess what happened when the door got opened up for them to be my next private lender. So anyway, that's it for today. How to introduce yourself or to reintroduce yourself. Now, of course, if you don't know how to talk about private lending or private money, then stay tuned to these sessions. In fact, the story I just shared with you, it was one of my coaching clients over the telephone. We were talking the other day, and he asked me, he says, Jay, how do I get the door open to have a conversation about private money? And so that's exactly what I just shared with him, that story of being at Carol Joy's mother's birthday party. So anyway, stay tuned. Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority. Hey, let me tell you, or let me ask you, if you have found this information valuable, particularly if you're a current real estate investor, you probably have found it valuable because you've heard me talk about private money. So here's a great way to open the conversation, talking to others about private money and attracting more funding into your business. If you haven't heard me talk about private money, and then stay tuned. We'll be talking more and more about how you can get funding for your deals. But if you have found this this strategy valuable that you can use, then let me ask you, please share it. Just go down below the video, and you can share this video with your friends on your social media. Also, I have got a free gift that I'd like to share with you, and that is I've got a 60-minute audio recording that's titled How I Raised $2,150,000 in less than 90 days. And that's when I got cut off from the banks a few years ago, and I was introduced to this wonderful world of private money. So all you have to do is just go down below, click below, and that will take you to where you can claim that free audio recording, How I Raised over $2 million in less than 90 days. And so also, if you'd like to make a comment, I love your comments, I love your feedback. Also go down below and you can comment on this video post. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me here. Share this with your friends. And I'm Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority here in Morehead City, North Carolina, wishing you all the best in your real estate investing career. And I hope in some way that I can be a part of your success in real estate investing. With that, have a great day, and bye for now.